Fyodor Dostoevsky was a famous Russian writer. He is well known for his deep and complex stories about people and society. Dostoevsky's works explore themes like morality, human suffering, freedom, and the struggle between good and evil. Many readers and critics consider him one of the greatest novelists in the world. His books are still widely read today, and his ideas have had a big influence on literature, philosophy, and psychology. In his lifetime, Dostoevsky wrote many novels, short stories, and essays. One of his most famous books is Crime and Punishment. In this novel, the main character, Raskolnikov, struggles with guilt after he kills a woman. This story explores the mental and emotional consequences of crime, as well as questions about justice and morality. Another important work by Dostoevsky is The Brothers Karamazov. It tells the story of three brothers and their complicated relationships with their father. The book looks at questions of faith, doubt, free will, and the nature of God. Dostoevsky's writing is often described as intense and thought-provoking. He was interested in exploring the darkness inside people's minds and how this affects their actions. Many of his characters face big moral dilemmas and must decide between good and evil. His works are not always easy to understand, but they are always powerful and full of meaning. Dostoevsky was born in 1821 in Moscow, Russia. He grew up in a time of great change in Russia, with many people questioning the old ways of life. When Dostoevsky was young, Russia was ruled by an emperor, and most people lived in a system that treated them as servants. The country was going through changes, with many people wanting more freedom and equality. These ideas had a big impact on Dostoevsky's writing. In his early life, Dostoevsky studied engineering. But he soon discovered his love for writing and began to write stories and novels. In his 20s, he became involved with a group of people who wanted to change Russia's political system. These people, known as the Decembrists, believed in freedom and equality for all people. Dostoevsky's involvement with this group led to trouble for him. In 1849, he was arrested for his political activities and sentenced to death. However, just before his execution, Dostoevsky's sentence was changed to hard labor in Siberia. He spent several years in a prison camp, where he experienced great hardship and suffering. During his time in Siberia, Dostoevsky began to write more seriously. He wrote many short stories and novels, some of which were published while he was still in prison. This period of his life had a big influence on his later works. The suffering he experienced in Siberia made him even more interested in exploring the human mind and the struggles people face. After he was released from prison, Dostoevsky continued to write. He became known as a writer who could deeply understand human emotions and thoughts. His works were often controversial, as they dealt with difficult topics like crime, guilt, and the meaning of life. But despite this, many people admired his writing and praised him for his honesty and depth. In addition to his novels, Dostoevsky also wrote short stories and essays. These works often dealt with themes of faith, love, and the search for meaning in life. In Notes from Underground, for example, he explores the thoughts of a man who feels alienated from society. This book is seen as one of the first works of existential literature, a genre that focuses on individual experience and the search for purpose. Dostoevsky's ideas about life and human nature influenced many other writers and thinkers. He was one of the first to explore the idea of the psychological novel, where the focus is on the inner lives of characters rather than just their actions. His work helped shape the development of modern literature and psychology. Many later writers, such as Franz Kafka, Albert Camus, and Jean-Paul Sartre, were influenced by Dostoevsky's ideas. Dostoevsky's work is also important for its exploration of religion and spirituality. He was deeply interested in questions of faith, especially in the context of suffering and doubt. In The Brothers Karamazov, for example, the character Ivan Karamazov rejects God because he cannot understand why a loving God would allow so much suffering in the world. This question of the problem of evil, or why bad things happen to good people, is still a central issue in religious and philosophical discussions today. Dostoevsky's own beliefs were shaped by his experiences and struggles. While he questioned many aspects of religion, he also believed in the power of faith and the possibility of redemption. His characters often face struggles of faith, and their journeys toward belief or disbelief are central themes in many of his works. Dostoevsky's writing style is known for its emotional intensity and philosophical depth. He often wrote long, complex sentences that explore the inner thoughts and feelings of his characters. He was also known for his use of dialogue, which allows the reader to see different points of view and conflicting ideas. This makes his works not only powerful stories, but also a deep exploration of the human mind and soul. Despite the challenges and suffering in his life, Dostoevsky continued to write until his death in 1881. He died at the age of 59, leaving behind a legacy of important and influential works. Today, his books are read by millions of people around the world, and his ideas continue to inspire and challenge readers. Dostoevsky's work is timeless, and his exploration of the human condition remains relevant even in the modern world. His ability to dive into the darkest parts of the human soul and find meaning in them makes his work unique and important. As one of the greatest writers in history, Dostoevsky's influence can be seen in literature, philosophy, and psychology. His stories continue to be studied and admired for their deep insights into human nature and their exploration of moral and spiritual questions. Though his life was filled with hardship and struggle, Dostoevsky's legacy lives on through his writing. He is remembered not only as a great novelist, but also as a thinker who challenged readers to question their beliefs and consider the deeper meanings of life.